Hey everyone, you've all seen the video. Now it's time to see the police report. I've had to redact a lot of details from it to make it YouTube friendly, but I put a full version, almost completely full version, on my Google Drive with all the details that you'll want to know. So I hope that you enjoy it. I had to wait until this time to be able to release this. I did my best with matching the parts of the video that show just how many lies police put into their reports, as if we didn't already know this. So without further ado, here it is. Let me know what you think. Thanks.
Call notes for this matter stated that a female subject was videotaping the FAA Center at the front gate by Northeastern Boulevard. It further described the female subject as a white female approximately 20 to 25 years of age, wearing a gray and blue shirt and baseball cap.
Sorry? Sorry, I can't hear you.
This is a federal facility. You can't take a picture of a federal facility, ma'am.
Is that a law?
Yes, it is, ma'am.
What law is that?
I just told you what it was. It's a federal law. Do you have an ID on you?
Why do I need an ID? Are you a law enforcement officer?
Yes. What do I look like?
You look like a security guard.
Oh, okay. Is that what you think? All right, I'll have the police right here in a minute. Stay right there.
Oh, is that an order? It's a felony. Uh-oh. I guess I'm in trouble.
Upon making these observations, I proceeded to park and exit my vehicle. I then approached the female subject, who began walking towards me and immediately directed her cell phone towards me and began recording our interaction. I began my interaction with the female subject by identifying myself to her and trying to ascertain what was going on. She explained to me that she was filming the facility for public use and public publishment.
Hello, sir.
Hello. What are you up to today?
I'm just doing some recording. May I please get your name and badge number?
Yep, name's Officer Weiss, badge number 136.
Thank you.
Confronted by members of the FAA's security staff, while in the process, I attempted to ask her where she lived or if she was just visiting, but she declined to provide a response. I also asked her what it was specifically that she, police vehicle, who was simply trying to determine what her agenda was behind filming the FAA Center. At one point in our conversation, I asked the female if she was actually interested in the FAA or if she was just trying to prove the point that she could film the federal facility, which she refused to answer. The female subject and I's conversation continued on in circles for several more minutes, with her telling me that she was allowed to film the facility and that she hadn't broken any laws. However, when I went to try to explain something to her or retrieve dispelling information from her, she would rudely interrupt me to the point where she had even told me to shh. And then she would to try to revert my attention back to the 2010 DHS memo regarding the right to photography of federal facilities. She was asked several times why she was being stopped. She asked several times why she was being stopped, detained, and I repeatedly told her that she was being stopped for suspicious activity, which she had yet to dispel my concerns of. The female refused to provide me with any identifying information, and would not tell me if or what media source she was affiliated with or what her actual agenda was. The female eventually allowed me to view parts of the video.
Well, no, now you're being detained because I need to dispel my concern about what you're doing here.
Why am I being detained, sir?
Suspicious activity.
Photography cannot be used.
You and I are going to go around in a circle,
No,
okay?
sir. Please let me
Could
finish.
I have your ID?
I don't have an ID.
You don't have an ID?
No.
Okay. Can you give me your name?
No.
You're not going to give me your name?
No, because photography cannot be used.
Are you from around here?
Sir.
Yeah. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
It's called Granite State Transparency.
The female eventually allowed me to view parts of the video that she had captured on her cell phone, and upon reviewing some of the footage, I noticed that throughout her recording, she was panning back and forth across the facility's property with no readily apparent purpose, and that she had captured vehicles entering and exiting from the facility's entrance as well.
Stay right there.
From the footage where she had been standing while taking the recordings from, a large chain link fence with very clear posted no trespassing signage outlined the FAA's property, and I explained to her that I needed to check with the members of the FAA security staff to determine if she had been standing on the property or public property while taking her recordings. While explaining this to her, she told me that she had been standing on the public side of the easement while recording, and then tried to argue with me about what the limits of the easements were and wanted me to measure them. Upon looking at the FAA Center and the edge of the roadway, it appeared to me that the FAA Center maintained the grounds extending from the outside of the fence to the edge of the utility pole and adorned the side of the roadway. Then she tried to incorrectly cite the statute on criminal trespass, at which time I retrieved a hard copy of the New Hampshire Criminal Code, annotated, and read to her the New Hampshire RSA pertaining to criminal trespass in verbatim, but in doing so, she tried to now claim that I was threatening her, even though I was only trying to constructively review the RSA with her.
I was walking down the sidewalk, sir.
There's no sidewalk here.
No, I apologize. I was walking down the public easement.
So what I'm going to do right now, you can see it says no trespassing right there.
I'm sorry.
Come on over here. We'll go to the front of the car right here.
I don't want to trespass, sir.
Nope, you're with a police officer.
I don't want to trespass.
Okay. So you're gonna make my life harder by having to hold the book up here, huh?
Sir,
It was a joke.
you just threatened me with criminal trespass. I do not want
Provision
to
for hold on
joke.
Nashville Dispatch.
It wasn't a threat. I don't threat. I'm just stating what the law is. A person is guilty of criminal trespass if, knowing that she is not licensed or privileged to do so, he enters or remains in any place. Criminal trespass is a misdemeanor for the offense if the person knowingly or recklessly causes damage, which that's not what you're doing here. Criminal trespass is a misdemeanor if the trespass takes place in an occupied structure as defined in RSA 631(1)(3), or the person knowingly enters or remains in any secure premise in any place in defiance of an order to leave or not to enter, which was personally communicated to him by the owner of the authorized persons, or in any place in defiance of any court order restraining him from entering such place, so as long as he has been properly notified of such order. All other criminal trespass is a violation. In this section, secure premise means any place which is posted in a manner prescribed by law or in a manner reasonably likely to come to the attention of intruders, or which is fenced or otherwise enclosed in a manner designed to exclude intruders. Okay?
Okay.
It's posted on a fence. It says U.S. government property, no trespassing.
Do you know?
So, in accordance to 635-2, criminal trespass, it's a secure premise, okay? In violation
Yes.
of the order, which is clearly posted.
Past the public easement. Do you know what the public easement is? Because I do.
What is it?
The road is 50 feet wide.
Yep.
So from the center of the road, it's 25 feet. Do you want to measure?
So you're telling me that beyond that sidewalk up to the fence is not their property?
I am telling you that from the center of this road, if you measure 25 feet, that is the public easement.
Okay. And that's what I'm going to find out.
Wait a minute. The purpose of this detainment was suspicious activity, aka photography, which in itself is an illegal detainment. Now you're expanding the investigation beyond its original scope because the initial suspicion was unjustified, even more unlawful. When an investigative stop evolves into unlawful detention, the purpose of investigative stops is to allow police officers to confirm or dispel their suspicions of criminal activity. The scope of the officer's investigation must be limited to that purpose, and a stop cannot last any longer than is necessary to achieve that purpose. If the officer is able to determine that the initial suspicion justifying a stop was unfounded, the stop must end at that point. The officer cannot expand the scope of a stop to investigate other suspected illegal activities.
We're going to find out where their property lines begin. Okay, and if you were in defiance of that order, we might have a criminal trespass. Okay, so just hang tight. Watch your back. I don't want to see you get hit by traffic.
The female also requested the presence of a supervisor throughout our conversation, and as a result, I contacted Street Supervisor Sergeant Maderos and notified him about the situation at hand. While speaking with Sergeant Maderos, we both agreed that the female subject was within her rights to record the facility as long as she was not engaged in readily apparent criminal activity and only doing so on public property.
I'm trying to figure things out because we're dealing with local and then federal laws, so we're just trying to figure out, see what's going on, right?
Sorry.
What's she trying to do?
Just looking for directions. She has to have an iPhone.
So
Let's be honest.
So I checked with them,
Yep.
okay, and you're right. They said that you did not pass that, okay?
Okay.
That's what we had to determine.
Okay.
They're telling me that there is possible federal law that says you can't videotape a federal facility. I don't know that. So what I would like to do, again, I understand what you're trying to do, and I can appreciate that, okay? But you obviously got to understand at the end of the day, I got to do my job too, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what I would ask, all right, to make sure that this isn't like a prowling or a federal offense, like I told you, I got to document this, okay? And if you're doing nothing wrong, then great, okay? Would you be able to give me your name so I can just properly document this? That way, if you're doing nothing wrong, it'll reflect that, and then we can just go about our way.
Entering and exiting the facility, as well as examining security features within the facility. A short time later, I was advised by Ms. Park that it did not appear as though the female subject had violated any federal rules or regulations. However, the federal government requested that Nashville Police Department's assisting in identifying the female subject, if possible. I was also informed that this particular FAA facility hub is responsible for controlling the majority of air traffic in the Northeast and was directly involved in the incidents on September 11, 2001, making it a particular location of concern when dealing with the possibility of someone conducting terrorist reconnaissance activity of the facility outside the front gate.
Okay, because like I said, I'm trying to wrap my head around all this as well.
Right.
And if you, like they said, you were on.
The easement.
Yes. Well, no, you were off the easement, so you're good. Well,
I was on
let
the
me
public
rephrase.
easement.
You were on the public easement.
Correct.
You're not on their property. So we're good there. They're trying to figure out if there's like a federal law or something like that that's going on. So obviously, as long as you stay on the public property,
Yep.
you're fine, okay? As
Yes.
of right now. They're their own federal regulations, rules and regulations, so that's what they're trying to uphold.
Right.
If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're not doing anything wrong, what I would like to do is I'd like to document that. One, it proves your point, and it satisfies what you're trying to do. It's more credence to your cause, okay? Because you can go get a copy of the report right in the police department. I'm not trying to set you up for failure. I'm just trying to document what's going on here today, okay?
As I continued to converse with the female, I grew concerned that the true intent behind her presence had nothing to do with her sincere interest in the facility, but instead she was trying to use this facade to provoke a heightened response disturbance from staff members at the facility or from local or law enforcement officers who responded to inquire about what she was doing there. I also grew increasingly concerned that she may have been trying to record how the facility responded to various security threats or issues, whether terror-related or not. Either way, what she was failing to realize, and what I quickly took visible note of, was that her behavior had now garnered the attention of the facility's security staff, which in turn pulled them away from performing other necessary security functions around the site, monitoring all those who enter and exit the facility. Her behavior had also pulled the facility's air traffic control manager, Tara Park, away from her very important duties, prompted the notification about the incident to the FAA's headquarters down in Washington, D.C., effectively pulling those individuals away from their other duties, and caused those who entered and excited the facility to become distracted and concerned by the police presence, effectively slowing down orderly flow of traffic in and out of the facility. I then returned to my vehicle and was about to clear from the call when I observed the same suspicious female from the incident walking down Henry David Drive, and then quickly ducked and disappeared into the wood line that separates Henry David Drive from the Canterbury Apartments on Congress Street. This odd behavior spiked my concerns once more about her agenda, because it appeared as though she was now going out of her way to not only conceal her identity from me, but also where she intended to egress to after leaving the FAA facility. It did not make any sense to why someone would go through such great efforts to conceal themselves from law enforcement if they legitimately believed that they had done nothing wrong and had been acting in a lawful manner. As a result, I quickly drove down Henry David Drive to see if there was a clear-cut path, and maybe the female has simply taken to shorten her walk. However, I observed no such path and only thick brush that someone.
Officer Weiss didn't merely observe me walking down Henry David Drive. He followed me the half mile and then another 1,000 feet down to where it cut into the parking lot of my apartment building. And obviously
Someone would have had to purposefully trudge through to make it to the other side. As a result, I made my way to the Canterbury apartment complex and began conducting a patrol of the area. While doing so, I observed the female subject walking through the parking lot before stopping in front of building number 33. The female subject took note of my presence and then began acting oddly. She began to look indiscriminately around the parking lot while vigorously typing away on her cell phone. She then awkwardly approached my vehicle and tried to record me on her cell phone while asking me questions. She seemed to quickly lose interest in her questioning and stopped recording me, walking back towards building number 33. I then received a separate call for service, and as I was leaving the parking lot of the complex, I observed the female subject standing behind a large plate glass window in the common hallway on one of the top floors, building number 33, while recording me with her cell phone. By this time, there was a heavy and intense rain falling, and I was concerned that maybe the female had gained unauthorized entry into the building to get out of the rain while waiting for someone to pick her up. As a result, I contacted the complex maintenance staff and notified them of the female's suspicious behavior and provided them with the description of her and where she was last seen. Submitted by Officer Scumbag Weiss, number 136.
I told you I wasn't hard to find.
What's that?
I told you I wasn't hard to find.
Nope. What's going on?
Did you get a call out here just following me?
Nope, so this is my area of the city that I patrol.
Oh, just a coincidence.
Must be, yeah. You can tell me where you live, I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Alrighty?
Well, you have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
So this video demonstrates exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it. It clearly shows that our rights are being violated. Officer Scumbag Weiss said on his report, he admitted that the federal government wanted him to identify the female. And he lied on his report, saying that he was just driving down the street and she was acting suspicious and doing this and doing that. He tried to make himself out to be a hero. You are not a hero, Officer Weiss. Officer safety is not heroism, dude. Public safety is. You should have been more concerned about nobody violating her rights. You should have told the federal government that she is doing nothing wrong. I cannot go and identify her. She's not doing nothing wrong. I'm sorry. That's not my job. Clearly, it shows basically strong-arming her identification. Granite State Transparency, she's fairly new when this video came out. She did very, very well. And look what happened to her. A lot of stuff happened to her because of this video. It's disturbing, man. Stalking. And yeah, people are afraid of police, man. If you're not doing anything wrong, just identify yourself. What's the problem? Psst. We don't have to ID if we're not doing anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. And I hope that this video highlights a lot of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Anyways, thank you guys. Go subscribe to Granite State Transparency. She's pretty badass, man. She's a good person. She's been supportive of my channel way before she even started. Thank you, Granite State Transparency, for highlighting all the garbage that we see out here today. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.